Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a meeting of the Council of the City of Long Beach held Wednesday, March 18th at 7 p.m. We'll have a roll call. Councilmember Johnson? Here. Councilmember Ennis?
Here.
Councilmember Reinhardt? Absent. Vice President Fiamara? Here. President Finn?
Yes. Here. Present.
Let the record indicate the presence of City Manager Dan Creighton and Corporation Counsel Greg Kalnitsky. We'll now have a salute to the flag.
Please remove your caps. Hand over heart. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everyone to our second March meeting. We have a beautiful sunset. The sun is starting to come over towards the bay, or maybe the earth is moving that way, but means summer's almost here, right? You wouldn't know it by today's weather. So we're going to get right on with the city manager report, please.
All right, thank you, Brendan. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here again tonight. I hope everybody had a great St. Patrick's Day. So before I go into a brief city manager report, I would like to kick things off a little differently tonight by inviting up Mrs. Gallo, a local teacher, and her class to talk about a project they've been working on that they are looking for the city to consider and our residents to help make happen. Thank you, Mrs. Gallo, and your class. Let's hear the presentation and see what it will take to make your vision a reality.
Thank you, President Finn and City Council members. Thank you guys for being here and supporting these children and their vision for the future. We have been on this journey for about 3 years, trying to see what we can do about the pollution that they see. And this is their solution. And this is Eva, and she's going to start us off.
Hello, President Finn and council members and city manager. Thank you for having us. I have a question. Who here loves the ocean? I know I do. I was born here and I grew up in the water. As famous American author John Kabat-Zinn once said, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." Now this time, we're not trying to surf the waves, but things that are seriously threatening them. Our project that we are proposing is called a bioswale. A bioswale is a natural filtration system that helps clean out our oceans, lakes, bays, and other bodies of water, including around Long Island. This project will not only manage stormwater runoff, but will help manage the amount of pollutants that go into our ocean daily. I wish I could say that pollutants harm only our water quality, but that would not be true. They also harm our sea life, such as our sea mammals, fishes, algae, and so much more. Pollutants can come in all types of ways, like heavy metals, microplastics, hydrocarbons, and more. This project, which would help our sea life and support city sustainability goals, would also help to educate our community, neighbors, and schools. We have a lot of visitors and residents who are not aware that they are polluting the ocean that we must take care of. In conclusion, a bioswale will allow our environment to be a healthy and safe place for everyone to enjoy. Next up is our science specialist, James Hastings.
Hello, President Finn and council members. My name is James Hastings and I'm 12 years old. I live in Lynbrook, but my beach is Long Beach. I'm going to share with you the importance of native plants in our environment and why they are an important addition to our bioswale. Native plants like devil's beggarticks, goldenrod, horsehair, and goosefoot, just to name a few, filter out pollutants and contaminants like nitrogen, heavy metals, and microplastics from the soil. There are some that even do phytoremediation, which destroys organic pollutants and converts metals to a less toxic form. This is how long it takes to biodegrade materials in our environment. As you can see, some of these things will remain in our environment for hundreds of years. The distribution of soil, sand, and rocks will filter the water. This is an already heavily flooded area, and the roots of the plants will help curb flooding. They'll also bring more pollinators to our ecosystem. Next up, we have Site and Design Planner Fiora.
Greetings, President Finn and council members. I am Fiora and I am 10 years old, 651 West Penn Street. Let me take you to my neighborhood. I live a block away from the beach, and this is the area that we are proposing to build a bioswale. Right now it says, children at play and no dogs. First off, no children are going to want to play there, and it's literally a dog bathroom. But picture this, you walk in and see magnificent butterflies on milkweed, and smell the delightful smell of lavender. We can transform this into that. The area already floods and has 2 drains. Imagine a gentle slope guiding the water to the native plants that filter and detoxify the water before it goes down those drains. And next up is Avelina and Tony, and they will be explaining the budget and funding of this project.
Good evening, President Finn and City Council members. My name is Avelina, and I'm 12 years old. Now let me ask all the parents here, what do you spend most of your money on? If you're wondering, it's most likely your children. How much would you spend to have your child learn about a natural way to save the ocean, to experience various smells of flowers and the taste of herbs and the sight of beautiful butterflies? The bioswale will allow all children to enjoy and discover some of the many wonders and secrets of the natural world and their own environment. Our budget plan includes low material costs. We will be using native plants, which means they grow here naturally. They are adapted to the environment, so they don't need much care. We already applied for grants and teamed up with non-for-profits that supply native plants. We will use volunteers for manual labor. This is my sister, who is already a volunteer.
Hi, my name is Tony. I'm volunteer for this bioswale too. If I can do it, you can do it. And I'm only 6 years old. I'm going to get all my friends and family to clean up the trash and volunteer for this bioswale. And we learned that it's not just the big trash, it's also the tiny stuff like microplastics. And that's what a bioswale does.
We are doing as much as we can with fundraising. We started a Facebook page and have already gained support from the local Lions Club. Next we have Cameron, our maintenance and steward manager.
Greetings, President Finn and council members. My name is Cameron Hastings. I'm 9 years old and I live in Lynbrook. And that beach right there, that's my beach. I'm sure you're wondering who's going to maintain this bioswale. Volunteers like myself and our club, neighbors in the area, school clubs, community service, and seasonal maintenance workers are just a few ideas. There will be a fence, clear borders, and mulch for a cleaner look. The cool thing is that native plants have low upkeep. A bioswale is a beautiful and natural environment, so it doesn't need to look perfect all the time. And during the winter time, there won't be much, if anything at all, to maintain. Thank you so much for your time and attention to this matter.
You good?
Thank you very much, and I think you made such a great proposal. Are we going to vote on that now? I can't wait to see it. It's going to be on my block, I believe, right? I can't wait to see it because, thank you, everybody. Thanks for your hard work. Much appreciated.
So,
Want to do a photo?
do you want to do a photo?
All right.
And then we'll go to the city manager's report.
So as the kids explained, there is a Facebook page that they started that has sign up for volunteer, as well as some of our events that we'll be holding. We're teaming up with the Art League and doing a mural for Earth Day and hopefully breaking ground. And that would be really cool. We're very excited. Thank you so much for... the petition's on there too. And you can take a flyer if you'd like.
Thank you, Susan. Never goes away. I don't have internet. It says no internet on Long Beach City Hall. Did we vote on it?
Do you want me to continue with the...
Yeah.
So just to continue with the city manager report, again, I'd like to thank them all for that great presentation. It's great to see kids get active in the community and want to really see change that will help us. Thank you so much. So just a few more items. Thank you to everyone who joined in the Long Beach Polar Bear Splash this Sunday. Many people came out to raise thousands of dollars for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, probably much more than that. Despite the cold, everyone seemed excited, and the event was a success. Thank you to Pete Myers and the Polar Bears for keeping this tradition alive and for helping to keep Long Beach the great, caring community it has always been. The city's annual Easter egg hunt will take place on recreation fields from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturday, March 28th. This event is for Long Beach School District children ages 7 and under. So you have to register your child if you want to take part. Please visit the rec center lobby where the sign-up is. And thank you to East End Volleyball for sponsoring this very popular event. Moving on from events, let's talk potholes. The Department of Public Works has been planning for a busy pothole season after the winter we had. We were expecting quite a few potholes, and sure enough, they are definitely out there. As they knew the many freeze cycles we experienced this winter would result in roads cracking, they have been prepared to address this issue. As weather is permitted and continues to permit, we have and will have 2 crews out patching holes until the critical issues are addressed. To date, these crews have already repaired more than 250 potholes in about 2 weeks' time. To report a pothole that requires immediate attention, please notify DPW at 431-1001 or submit a request through the city's website. Please note that Long Beach Boulevard, north of Park Avenue, and all lanes of Park Avenue east of Long Beach Boulevard are county roads. Their number is 571-6900. Lastly, as we have a lengthy agenda, I just want to again remind everyone that hasn't already done so, please schedule an appointment to have your residential water meter replaced. Our contract with the company performing this work will be ending soon, and again, there is no opting out of having your meter replaced. So if you don't get it done by the city's contract, you will have to bear the cost of hiring a plumber to do it for you. For more information on the water meter replacement program and to schedule an appointment, please visit longbeachny.gov/water meters. Please, please, please do yourself a favor and get this action taken care of as early as possible. And with that, I'll conclude my city manager's report. Thank you, Brendan.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Let's get on with the agenda. And, okay.
Item number 1 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Long Beach re Ocean Beach Park and bars, taverns, nightclubs, and other establishments.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to amend item number 1 as follows. Amend the resolution title to include Appendix A, zoning code, and add Appendix A, zoning code in all places the ordinance title is referenced. I would also like to add the proposed ordinance to reflect removal of Section 9-106.1 and 4.
Who will second? Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Ennis?
Yes.
Vice President Fiamara? President Finn?
Yes?
Okay. This item is for publication only. A public hearing will be held on April 7th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Item number 2 is a resolution authorizing publication for hearing of an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Long Beach re motor vehicles and traffic. This item is for publication only. A public hearing will be held on April 7th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Item number 3 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to amend the agreement for design and engineering services for the North Shore Critical Infrastructure Protection Project. And item number 4 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to amend the agreement for general construction, electrical construction, and engineering services for the North Shore Critical Infrastructure Protection Project.
So sorry about that. Both items 3 and 4 are related to the North Shore Critical Infrastructure Project. Construction of the project commenced in January of 23 with an anticipated completion date of October of 24. From the onset, the project experienced significant delays associated with unknown site conditions and coordination with numerous utilities and the Long Island Railroad. We've also run into issues with FEMA regarding reimbursements for certain change orders, which we are very hopeful will be resolved. At this stage, we have approval from all the utilities except the Long Island Railroad and need to press forward with the project to keep the contractor on site to avoid additional costs associated with delay. These resolutions request approximately $600,000 for ongoing engineering services and approximately $5 million for the general contractor to complete the project, the date for which is now estimated to be March of 27. Funding for these requests will be covered by the Flood Protection Infrastructure budget line, and Commissioner Arnold is here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Questions from the council? I'll begin with a question. Ken, if you could explain just as briefly as you want, as you figure it is worthwhile to explain what items we're talking about. What's the situation?
So when we talk about utility coordination, NatGrid, PSE&G, and the cable companies have major infrastructure that passes underneath the area of work. In order to do the bulkheading at these projects, these utilities had to locate where their things were and approve how we would put bulkheading around them. It took an extended period of time to get that work completed, working with the utilities, and they required the city to change the scope of work from steel bulkhead to concrete bulkhead. So much of this cost is associated with that delay in that work. In addition, there were numerous locations throughout the project where conditions were different than anticipated. One such area was the gun range. Different soil had to be removed that was not anticipated. And I believe down on Monroe, there was some site conditions that were not anticipated during the design aspect. So currently, we have approvals from all the utilities to continue work. We are working with the contractor to change about 400 feet of bulkhead from steel to concrete. That is the major factor in the additional costs. Also, we have work that has to get done underneath the Long Beach Bridge. That was initially anticipated to be a steel bulkhead. Because of the delay of starting the job, because of funding early on, we lost the opportunity to use a specialized piece of equipment to put that steel bulkheading in, so we moved to a concrete bulkheading. In that case, this bulkheading actually came in cheaper than what we anticipated doing, so there was a savings there, which offset some of the additional costs to the project. And that work has also now been scheduled to start. So we currently have approved the contractor to do all the concrete bulkhead work. In parallel, we're working with FEMA to get this scope change approved. Right now, they have not approved it yet. We're hopeful that we can get that done. and get this contract completed because it is impacting residents both on the Monroe Avenue area, the tennis court area, and we want to protect our utilities as quickly as possible before we have any other events.
Okay, so to me, it's the bulkheading is the main issue, right? And that's going to become concrete. And
about 400 feet of the total length of it will be a concrete bulkhead, not
Yeah.
steel. The steel bulkhead is completed at the site.
right.
That's been done.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the council?
Yeah, Ken, about how long is this project? How far are we into it? About what percentage would you say? Any idea?
About
think
we're
your
about
mic's not on.
65, 70% completed, and our anticipated completion date, I think I said was March of 27.
Okay, thank you.
I think your mic is off.
Is it Let me say that again. Ken, about how far, in case you didn't hear, how far in is this project percentage-wise, approximately?
About 65 to 70% with the change order work that's been approved, so we'll be done by March of 27. That's our
Okay,
current date.
great, thank you.
Okay, great. Question from the public?
Roy Lester, I'm glad we're doing 3 and 4 together. Saves me from coming up twice. I'm trying to wrap my head around this, and I've been looking at it for a long time. 22 change orders, 22. And, you know, this is additional money, and I'm not sure, because it says there's 604 to cover the anticipated additional level of construction. So that's what's not budgeted for?
I'm confused on what you're asking. What do you mean?
I can't. 604 is the projected amount to cover the anticipated additional level. Okay, so it was not covered. So then we go to 4, and it says 2 there. 5,110,000 is the projected amount to cover the anticipated additional level. So I assume it's the same answer. So that was not
Additional work, yes. Additional work would be additional to the original contract. Yes.
So we're now talking about $5.7 million additional cost to this. Now, like I say, 22 change orders. How much of this should we be responsible for these changes? I mean, to me, it seems like it, and I mean, you're an engineer. When you give a quote on a project, you should know what the problems are.
Roy, I would hate to disagree with you more, but I will. Every project usually has change orders. There's things called unknown conditions. That's very typical. 22 is not an abnormal amount of change orders for a project of this size. As you said, I'm an engineer. I do a lot of these projects. It is not an abnormal number. And if you say that we should not, a pretty good idea, Roy, does not mean that you know everything that's going to be out there.
No, I don't know.
There's
Nobody knows everything.
As I said, there's unknown conditions, and change orders are meant to cover unknown conditions. You cannot bid a condition that you do not know about, and if you want to guess on it and pay for things that may not necessarily come up in a project, you're welcome to do so. I think it's a very poor way of managing a project.
Just 1 second, I'd like to interject something. You just mentioned a couple of the different issues that have come up in the course of this project. The gun range, the different power lines that were running underneath. There's unforeseen stuff.
The gun range was unforeseen?
Well, the amount of mitigation for it.
By the way, a lot of these changes were in 23 and 24, Roy. Most of them, actually, earlier ones were in 23. Just in case you weren't aware.
Yeah, and I didn't like it then. Ken, you said that there's 40 feet of concrete?
There's currently 40 feet of concrete bulkhead that was installed by some utilities.
Yes.
We have a balance of, I forget the number.
400 and change, I believe. How much? 400 and change.
About 400 and change that still needs to be done.
435?
Yes.
I think it is. And so that's going to be done in steel?
No, that'll be done in concrete. That's what the
Concrete.
utility
All the
companies-
steel is done.
Yeah, the steel is all completed. What we were working with the utilities to get approval for what they would allow us to do, and that's what the 400 feet of bulkhead still be done is.
And I did notice that most of, when you're talking about the additional money, the 5.1 million that's needed, most of it is estimated. sump pump rotate manually, 30,000 estimated. Bulkhead revisions, 786,000 estimated. Sheeting refusal. What is sheeting refusal?
There was a location, I believe it's on Monroe, where they could not drive the sheeting to the depth required to protect the shoreline, so they have to change their means and methods and do something different that was in the contract documents in order to achieve structural integrity of the sheeting.
And that's it, estimated for $500,000. Jet grouting, what is that?
That's the concrete bulkhead.
And that's 3.3 million for 20, you said 40 feet or 20 feet?
400
40
feet.
You said.
400 feet.
No, you said concrete. I just asked you about the concrete. You
Right,
said it
we
was
have
40
still
feet.
400 feet of concrete bulking to put in. That is that dollar figure.
I think you had quoted it, Roy. You said 435. You just
400 of steel.
No.
No.
Because steel is all done. There's only concrete
Steel is
left.
all installed.
Okay, so that's all the...
Yes.
Everything from now on is going to be concrete?
Yes.
Okay, and then there's a manhole demo. Can you explain that?
There was a condition of the existing sewer line that needed to be replaced instead of rehabbed, so that's the work of replacing the manhole, not just rehabbing the manhole.
Okay, so basically the question is, Dan, asking you, how would we structure a contract so that we don't have 22 change orders?
You wouldn't. So there's what's called known unknowns and there's unknown unknowns. If you think you can tell me how to figure out the unknown unknowns, God bless you. You would be amazing person that could predict the future. I don't know how you do that. That's why they're called unknown unknowns.
You look at things. You look, you find out that
Okay,
you have
let's,
a
all right,
gun
Roy,
range.
let's use the
You find out that
refusal.
you have pipes
Let's use the
in certain
refusal
places.
of the sheeting as an example. So how would you prevent that? If the sheeting goes down and hits a boulder below the depth that it's supposed to go to, how would you prevent that? Would you suggest drilling a pilot hole every foot of the entire length of the project so that you could determine whether you hit a boulder or
We're
not?
talking 400.
No, I'm telling you that that's an unknown unknown that you could not
475
predict.
feet of concrete that you needed.
Right.
Right.
This project started 4 years ago?
No, it started in 2016.
Okay, so the person you should be talking to, the change orders, started in 2016, right? The change orders come as new people get involved in this or as new problems arise. You must know that. You must see that.
I also know if you draft a contract properly, you shouldn't have, and I'm not saying you don't, you shouldn't have
Okay.
22 change orders.
Here's where we're at. We're between 65 and 70% completed. So we have a couple of options, right? One of the options is stop the project. Of course, that's not an option at
No,
all.
that's not an option.
No, right. So
That's
we
a
keep
silly thing to
mo-
say.
No, we
Yeah.
keep moving forward.
Yes.
And we have to go with the change orders because change orders, as he just said, take care of things that are unknown when the project began. Okay?
Yeah, so
Great.
it's
All right,
costing.
thank you.
It's costing taxpayers another $5.8 million.
I don't want to go. I don't want to get into that
So
discussion.
the hope is, we're done.
We're done. Thank you. Yes.
Good evening, Eileen Hessian. I think my questions are more specific and easier.
Okay.
The number I see on there is at 5,100,000 something. Is that, and the second page has 6 million. How much extra do we have to pay? Just the 5 million?
Second page.
They're two different contracts.
Oh, so aren't we talking about both 3 and 4?
And 3 is 600,000.
Well, we
and
can.
4 is
I mean, we didn't get to 4 yet,
5.1.
but we can.
So I'm just wondering, is it 6 million and 5 million, 11
No,
million?
It's 600,000.
600,000,
Okay.
5
Sorry. It's just a zero. 5 million.
That's all, just a zero.
5 million and 600,000. So both of those need to be paid.
Yes.
Yes.
How much has already been paid by us, by the city?
Can you, by the city, most of it has been reimbursed by FEMA, and the expectation is that all of this will be reimbursed by FEMA.
So
Million to be reimbursed as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And When you said that it was going to be steel under the bridge, but then you couldn't do that, so you put concrete under the bridge, I assume the steel is stronger, right?
No. It's
I'm
designed.
wondering if it's dangerous to have concrete instead of steel in an important place like the bridge.
No, the engineering design will make sure the concrete is as structurally strong and has the same integrity and lifespan as steel.
And the current piers for the bridge are concrete.
Okay.
Yep.
That $5,600,000 that we talked about, will FEMA pay any of that?
We expect them to.
Okay.
We have a amendment in with FEMA.
Okay, and then finally, PSE&G, LIRR, all of those, was there any money exchanged? Did they have to pay us? Did we have to pay them anything?
No, but we are looking at potential delay costs that we will be looking at, maybe seeing if we could get some money back from those utilities that have delayed the project, because delays were caused by those utilities.
So the delays that were caused by them, they might have to pay something?
If we will likely have to sue them to get it, but we will be looking into that.
Okay. And then on one of the papers, it says, does not include, oh, you just answered it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the public?
James Hodge, 95 East Fulton Street, here in our great city of Long Beach. I just want to continue to encourage the city to push this project. Crystal Lake has been a strong, impactful person that has been really pushing this project. Her and myself and others in different administrations. I know people from the community have worked on doing something in the North Park area for many years, as I get up and stand time to time and talk about the riprap and all of that stuff that was there for many years. And sometimes even on a nice day, sunny day, it's flooding, and this was the last area that was kind of taken care of. Everything had been everything was shored up around the whole city and the whole Barrier Island, but the Bayfront area, right around North Park, from around the bridge to the train track, has never really been done in decades. And so over $27 million has been put into this. We have met with the federal government, the state government, and this was even bringing some of the federal government in during the aftermath of Sandy. You said something about PSE&G and LIPA. I sit on the advisory board for LIPA. I have a really good relationship with the president. I was with the president of PSE&G today, Mr. Jennings, and I had a really great board meeting with all of the members that was there. And I'm always looking to be an advocate for Long Beach, which I did today at the meeting. And so, president and to the council and city manager, whatever way I can be a help, again, I sit on that board with National Grid and I'm on a LIPA advisory board, but I sit on that advisory board with multiple people, and I do have, I'll say, I have a voice for Long Beach, and that's why I'm there. So whatever I can do to partner with our city that will benefit our city, I will be that voice for you and with you. And so again, I just say, continue pushing the infrastructure project, whatever changes we have to do. And I know that some of the projects was because of some of the utilities they were finding in the ground and different things they were finding, or trying to get some things that were effective in putting there, but cheaper in dollar amount. And so not cheap material, but less expensive, I'll say that. And so with some of the things, as Crystal constantly sent emails and sent a lot of information. So again, I'm happy that the infrastructure and the Bayfront project is moving forward. We've been trying to get it for decades. I've been pushing cars out of water, and many cars have flooded, and homes over the years. So again, I continue to encourage to push that project. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the public? Okay, we'll close that one. Thank you.
Item number 5 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Core BCS, a partner of Cisco Systems contract.
So in 2022, the city transitioned from an on-premise phone system to one that is cloud-based, greatly improving continuity of service in the event of an internet disruption or an emergency. At that time, we entered into a 3-year agreement with an option to renew for 1 additional year, which is what we are seeking to exercise tonight. In 2022, we were paying $33,630 a year for this service. Exercising the 4th-year option would cost the city $34,320 a year for the service, which is a modest increase of $690 over 4 years. If you have any further questions, Al Perez is here to answer anything you may have.
Okay, comments from the council? Questions from the public? Close that then. Oh, didn't see you.
On the backup document on that, it looks like there are 209 phones being taken care of, but 300 are registered, and there's messaging for 300 phones. So do we have 200 or 300?
Al.
Am I reading it wrong?
I would have to actually look that up. I'm actually not sure of the phone count.
Okay.
I'm not sure of the phone count. I'd have to
All right.
actually look that
Because
up
it
on
seems
the
like it
phone.
would be a big difference, right?
Probably not.
Okay, maybe you'll tell us next meeting.
Yes.
You okay?
You all right?
Are you all right?
Am I?
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll tell them what to do and how to do it. Thank you.
Okay, so maybe we'll have the answer next meeting.
We'll get the answer to you before next meeting.
That's great.
Yes.
Thank you.
In fact, maybe you can get it now.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Any other comments or questions from the public? Okay, we'll close that one. We'll have the answer for you, Eileen.
Item number 6 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract for design services for hazardous mitigation improvements at the water treatment plant.
Okay. So following Superstorm Sandy, Cameron Engineering, which is now IMEG, was hired to develop a hazard mitigation plan for the city's water treatment plant and associated facilities on the property in order to protect from future storm surges. In January of this year, FEMA and New York State DISHES approved approximately $3 million to undertake this work. Given IMEG's intimate familiarity with the project and FEMA's desire to see projects completed in a timely manner, albeit over a decade later, our Department of Public Works feels it is in the best interest of the design and timeline to retain IMEG to complete the project. At this time, we are seeking approval of funding of $464,000 for the first phase of this project. The funding will be available in the water purification plant hazard mitigation project budget line once the next cycle of borrowing is complete this spring and is reimbursable by FEMA. Commissioner Arnold is still here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Questions from the council?
I just wanted to ask Ken if he could describe a little bit about the work that will be done.
Sure. So this project includes putting flood-proof doors on all the building structure, all the different buildings on the property that are critical. That's the main building, the booster pump house, and one of the well houses. We're going to be putting drains in the facility to pump water out that would seep into the building. And then there's the raising of some electrical components and I believe a new gas service for one of the locations, basically utility infrastructure hardening for flooding.
And did it suffer a lot of damage during Sandy, that facility, or?
I wasn't here, but I know that I remember reading it was out of service for quite a bit of time.
Okay, thank you.
The well house, right, 15. Could you just explain a little bit more about that?
So throughout the city, we have wells that pump the water out of the ground,
right,
that send it to the treatment plant. The treatment plant cleans the water, gets rid of the iron, and then that's distributed to all the homeowners. So this is well house 15. I think there's 3 wells on the plant property. This is the one that has a separate well house that we're going to protect.
And this is at the plant or somewhere?
This is on the plant property, yes.
Right, okay. There are other wells not on the property?
Correct.
Like,
There's, down by the rec center, there's a well. I know there's a well on the east side. Some of them are at higher elevations. They don't need to be protected. The electric components are higher, but this
Right.
one's right up against the bay. So, and it's a critical well to the system,
Right.
so that's why it's getting protected.
okay, all right, thank you. All right, any other questions from the council? Questions from the public?
Right. There's 2 people with their hands up. They're arguing over it.
Do me a favor, Roy, just put your hand up when you're going to come up, because I thought you were, I didn't know what you were doing. I thought you maybe walked in. Never
There
mind.
you go.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ken, you said we have 12 wells right now. I'm sorry. It's working.
Off the top of my head, I forget the number of wells we have in operation, but this, 8 wells? We have 8 wells in operation currently.
Okay, but non-operating? So if this was well number 15,
right,
are they named after the number of wells?
But some are taken out as, from the day this all began. That well 1 was probably 1920. So there is no more well 1. So now we're up to 17.
So,
yeah.
So when you're talking 8 functioning,
yes,
how many non-functioning
I
then?
believe we have 2 or 3 non-functioning currently.
Okay, so the 12 pumps are not, it was 8. Okay. They're asking for design, construction administration, construction management, engineering contingency, a total of $818,000. But we are only looking to encumber $464,000, and we're talking about $3 million total that you're expecting from FEMA. Do I have that correct?
I believe so.
Correct.
Okay.
$3 million in total includes design fees.
Okay, yes. So why are we only taking the, IMEG is asking for the 818. That's saying that's their cost, but we're only taking out 464.
Because currently the capital project has that much cash available, and we don't need to encumber all the money because we have to design it, which is going to be a 9-month process.
Okay.
So we can come back and deal with the balance of it later.
Okay. And just from my point of view, when we look at something like this with no backup documentation, it's very hard to understand what it's about. So any backup documentation is really appreciated.
Okay, I thought I supplied an adequate backup on my...
There was nothing.
Yeah, you have my memo?
No.
Okay.
There was nothing in the backup.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions from, yes?
Dale Greenstein. I understand the cost, and I appreciate that it needs to be done. Is there a way to make or improve the water that we are getting to our homes? And what I mean by that is the rust in the water.
Not through the hazard mitigation program. Not through the hazard mitigation program. The hazard mitigation program is what protects the facility itself from storm surge. So this item has nothing to do with the water quality.
Okay, can I take it further and ask what will help with the rusty water?
Has nothing to do with this item.
But this isn't what we're discussing right now.
I understand, but it's...
Okay, good. Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the public? Okay, we'll close that one.
Item number 7 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for renovation. Oh, this is not the correct item, I'm sorry. Resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for renovations of the National Boulevard Fire Department Barracks.
So the fire department's National Boulevard paid sleeping quarters, locker room, and shower facilities require renovations. DBW issued an RFP for engineering services related to this work and received proposals from 17 firms. PL Engineering of Rockville Center had the highest technical score and was deemed the best value by the review committee at $51,600. Funds are available in the City Hall Fire Department renovations budget line, and our Commissioner of DPW, as well as our Deputy Commissioner of DPW, Steve Friedman, is available to answer any questions you may have.
Joe?
Steve and Ken Arnold.
Okay. Got a question. So the proposals were reviewed by the city's technical review committee. First of all, could you explain who's on the committee and then what kind of review happens?
Sorry, Brendan, one more.
It says the proposals were reviewed by the city's technical review committee. Who's on the committee and what kind of review process is it?
So right now there's 4 of us, Ken, myself, Danny O'Brien, and we have our construction inspector too, Rich Serrano, who looks at this stuff from a separate optic. We go through all the proposals. The proposals come in. We look at the technical side first.
Okay.
We rank that stuff, and then we look at the fees associated with it. So overall, we look. There are 4 or 5 different criteria in the RFP. One of them is their understanding of the project, their creativity, their expertise in the work, and of course, then we look at costs. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Questions from the council? Any others? Questions from the public? All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
We'll close that one.
Item number 8 is a resolution authorizing the use of EFC grant proceeds and amend the capital projects budget.
So this resolution seeks to amend the fiscal year 2023 capital budget with respect to the second phase of the water meter replacement project, wherein we will be replacing the larger commercial and residential building water meters. We originally anticipated borrowing $1 million for this project, but are now looking to forego that borrowing by utilizing approximately $1.5 million in grant money that was reimbursed for phase 1 of the project and apply it towards phase 2. Commissioner Arnold is here if you have any questions, and if there's any financial things, I believe Ina may be able to answer that as well.
Okay. Questions from the council?
I don't have a question. I just want to comment on and commend Dan, Ina, and Ken on staying on top of things and finding additional ways to save our residents money, especially not having to borrow $1 million. So thank you.
Yeah. How did you arrive at that? How did that work out? If you could explain it to a layman.
So Ina, I, and Tyler discuss projects all the time. We're always looking for funding to offset capital expenses. When we put the capital program together back last May, I guess it was, when I first got here,
right.
We did not know when reimbursements were going to come in. So we proposed this as a project that would have to be borrowed for. That's worst case scenario. Similar to the item that you'll hear shortly on Magnolia, HVAC, sometimes we get grants that we don't anticipate, or we get reimbursement sooner than anticipated. In this case, we got grants sooner than we anticipated, so instead of borrowing the money, the 3 of us discussed through the process of utilizing the grant proceeds that the city received and turning that around and using those proceeds to go with phase 2.
Okay.
And then we're looking for your approval to do so.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thanks for the explanation, because it's complicated, at least to me.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, all right. Questions from the public? Roy?
Before we do that, just going back for a second, you might want to look at number 4, resolution 4, where you start out, whereas pursuant to resolution number 197-22, duly adopted by the City Council on December 20th, 2026. I want that time machine. but I want it to go back so I can invest.
To when?
It was adopted December 20th, 2026.
Oh,
You see it? It's just a little thing that you just should correct before you vote.
Well, you missed one too. I didn't want to point it out to you, but you missed one as well.
Damn.
So.
All right.
But I found it.
What?
But I found one too. Okay.
Good.
All right, thank you.
Well, on number 8, I'm trying to figure this out. It says that it was originally estimated at 4.6 million. City's portion, 2.6, 200 from EFC.
You say item 8 or 7?
8. We're on 8.
Okay, 8, okay.
7's the firehouse.
Right.
Which is long coming.
Yeah, really.
So it says here, first of all, we have to reflect a revised projected total cost up $1 million, up to 5.693. And it says, but it also says, now desires to amend the capital plan to increase the city-funded portion of the water meter replacement project from 2.6 million to 5.6 million. The city's putting in that much? The city's funding 5.6 million?
Ina, do you have the answer for that?
I'm sorry, Dan, I can't.
I was just asking Ina if she has the answer for that. I wasn't
Dan,
asking.
take the pen away when you're talking.
Okay.
Thanks.
Ina Resnick, City Controller. I'll have to get back to you on that. We've been working on this resolution back and forth. So basically what this one does, the cost of the project did increase.
By $1 million. Exactly $1 million.
The cost of the project did increase. So, but the gist of this resolution is that we received the reimbursement, and in lieu of borrowing money to meet the increased cost, we're going to use the reimbursement to fund the project.
Wasn't the reimbursement part of the $2 million that you were getting from the EFC grant?
Yeah, but the difference is $3 million from what we're upgrading.
Did what?
Yeah, from 2666 to 5693.
But I don't think that's correct. You say that we are? The city's putting in an additional $3 million?
So I think if you look at the beginning, it was 2666, 667 or whatever, and $2 million from an EFC grant for a total of 4.66 and change million. Right now we're going up to 5.693. Originally there was 2.66 of that 5.693 that was city proceeds, right? And the rest of it was through the grant. Now since we're up at 5.693, we're looking for an extra million, which instead of funding it through capital being borrowed, we're funding it through the grant reimbursement. That's what the request is. The numbers work out. If you look at the original, 266 plus 2 equals 466. The new number is now 569.
Right.
So we're looking for the additional money. Instead of funding the additional money through a bond ordinance and borrowing for it, we're looking to use the reimbursement that we got from the grant to use that money to
That's what the grant was for. That's what the grant was for.
Right,
It says it right here.
we borrow based on a worst-case scenario, whether we get the money from the grant or not, which is Ken explained already. So what we're trying to do is we said we got the money back earlier than anticipated. So since we got the money back earlier than anticipated, we're saying, can you let me finish, or do you want to talk over me every time? We're looking to use the money that we got back from the grant earlier than we anticipated getting it, instead of borrowing. So it's just like a money transfer. We get the $1 million in, and we're putting it into the account so we could use that money to spend rather than using capital money that we're borrowing. That's what this resolution is for. It's using grant money to pay for the project rather than borrowing the money to pay for the project.
No, Dan.
Okay.
Dan,
You
if
can tell me how
read
it works,
says-
Roy.
It says,
Tell me.
whereas the full 4.66 was borrowed. You already borrowed the money. And
No.
what you're doing is you're taking the reimbursed money and you're using it. That's what it's for. That's what it was for.
So
but
what's
you're
the
saying
question?
here you already borrowed.
No, it's not. It's not what it's for. We expected to get the grant money back after the project was done. We got the money back before it was done. So instead of being overly cautious and borrowing for the money, we're using the money that we got back rather than it going into the fund. Roy, it's an accounting thing. You've done this a million times.
Yes, I
Why-
know. That's why I look at it and I say this makes no sense.
Okay.
You're getting the 200,000.
I don't know what to tell you.
As a grant. You used that. You got it. You used it for the project.
So what's the point? What are you trying to make here?
I'm trying to figure out, are we adding another $3 million to the city's cost?
No.
I think we never used the grant funds for the project because we got the grant funds after the project was completed or in the process of being completed.
You have to spend the money to get the
We had
grant
to use
money.
we had to use city capital to do the project. We put together a package based on the money spent. We put a reimbursement package to the agency funding the project. We get the money back.
Right.
But
Which is that's the way all projects are
Right, but in
supposed
this
to
case,
work.
we borrowed the full value of the first project. So we borrowed,
That was supposed to be the full project. We borrowed the $4 million, which was supposed to be the full project.
No,
You're
no, I'm
saying
sorry.
that they
No,
wanted-
no, no.
Yeah.
There was an estimate of the cost of the project that was subsequently increased. So when the first phase, when the project was first approved, part of it was supposed to be borrowed for the city's portion, part reimbursed by the grant.
You borrowed
When
the
we
entire amount.
borrowed the full amount because grants work on a reimbursement basis, right? So we borrowed the full amount. Now we got reimbursed. Whatever was spent, we got reimbursed. However, the project cost was increased, right? The approval was done for the increased cost of the project. And to fund that, let me finish. To fund that, we would have borrowed $1 million.
You have to borrow $1 million.
Another $1 million we would have had to borrow in order to, so if it went from $4 million to $5 million without reimbursement received in February of 2026, we would have had to borrow another $1 million to proceed with the project.
So instead, you took the money that you were supposed to get on the grant and used it for the extra thing. So in
Using
other
it,
words-
we're asking the council permission to let us use it,
Okay.
yes.
So in other words, it is, the water has gone up. The water meter replacement has gone up $1 million. Well, that's what it's saying right here.
the initial program was to do initially it was supposed to be done as one project. Predates me, they broke it into two pieces, residential meters and commercial meters. The capital plan was approved before my time for residential meters. At the last capital plan submission that we did in May of last year, I submitted a project to do the commercial meters for an additional $1 million. We asked for the bonding for the $1 million. I went to Enid to ask for the $1 million, and then we decided we had this grant reimbursement, so instead of borrowing the $1 million, we're going to use the grant proceeds that we currently are holding for the project.
Right, so you're going to have to replace that because you borrowed $4.6 million and you only were authorized to spend city money of $2.6 million. So if you take part of the reimbursement, you have to replace it.
I don't know where the 2.6 comes from.
All right,
Yeah.
thanks.
I wish you paid this much attention to the water problems we had in our general fund, our water general fund. I really do.
I did.
Well, then you didn't pay enough attention. All right, thank you.
certainly did, and
Thank you
that's
very
why I
much.
didn't think
It's a shambles. Any other comments or questions from the public? Okay, we can close that one. I think we.
Item number 9 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to amend an agreement for construction management services for Phase 2 of the water main improvements project.
So the Department of Public Works will soon be issuing an RFP for construction on Phase 2 of the Walks project. As everyone will recall, Phase 1 of the project took place last winter and included replacement of the water mains in a portion of the walks, as well as replacing the walks themselves, including the addition of colonial lighting. This was an extremely complex project that was ultimately completed on time and on budget with minimal complaints from our residents. A significant contributor to those successful outcomes was the work of D&B overseeing construction administration and inspection. To ensure similar outcomes in Phase 2, our Department of Public Works is requesting we amend an agreement with D&B to include their services for Phase 2. The total for their services is not to exceed $443,400 and is available in the Water Systems Upgrade budget line. For perspective, the project itself is estimated to cost approximately $5.5 million, which will come before the council in the future after responses are received from an RFP. Again, Commissioner Arnold is here to field any questions you may have.
Okay, questions from the council? I'll just make a comment about it. I live right by the walks, and I have to say, from my perspective in the neighborhood, although I didn't have any work done because I don't live in the walks, I thought it was a very well-run project, and I commend the company that did it. The project manager was extremely, shall we say, he was very helpful to the neighborhood, and he looked after the project very well. So I'm very hopeful that
which is why we're recommending that we go back with the same management team.
I hardly agree on that. Yeah. Is there anything that you want to add, like to what's been written on this, or?
Just also that this project also included the National Grid changing their gas mains. They jumped on our project, so that was coordinated also and very successful.
Okay. So we have comments from the public on this? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken.
Item number 10 is a resolution authorizing annual allocation of community development funds for the 51st program year.
Okay, so as noted in our last meeting, the county awarded the city an $800,000 community block grant fund budget for fiscal year 2025. This is an increase of $200,000 over the previous year and $470,000 more than the year before that, which is a testament to the quality of the projects we've been undertaking and completing. This item would adopt a budget that has been awarded and approved by the county following HUD guidelines for use for CDBG funds. Tyler Huffman, who has done a phenomenal job managing this program and is a big reason for the increases in funding, along with Patty Bourne, is here and available to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, my own comment on this is, as Dan just said, really a very good job, excellent job, and I'm grateful for all that that you did, both of you, on this situation. It's excellent. Yeah. Anybody on the council want to comment?
No, I agree.
Right. Yeah. Comments from the public. Questions from the public. Yes.
As I always get up and speak about community development funds, I just wanted to congratulate Tyler and Patty. How long have you been here, Tyler?
3 years now.
3 years. So you've been here for 3 years. Well, I do want to say that, you know, I know Denise Ford was consulting or helping the city with community development funds also, and I know she was the chair of the Community Development Fund committee in the legislature. Also, Lori Buscemi, I believe, works here or was working there, still work here in community development funds, and she was over community development funds working for the county. So I want to make sure that everybody is included when they're getting accolades and applauds, because it's a teamwork, and it's not just Tyler, but thank you. And so now that they're not working for the county, and Lori is here, and Denise is here, we can,
we have Pat Mullaney too. So Pat Mullaney's
and Pat, because he's the legislator, just like when Denise Port was the legislator. Yeah. So it's a teamwork, and so I just want to thank Lori Buscemi, because she's always been very helpful with community development when she was running it. Yeah. And also I see the Martin Luther King Center on here, as we constantly advocate for Martin Luther King Center to receive money. Again, as I always say, I'm not a board member. I don't speak on behalf of the agency, but I thank you for allowing that money because over $800,000 have come in. 70% of community development funds is supposed to go to low to moderate income families, and those are the persons that are supposed to benefit from community development funding. The city has that funding, and also they have the funding that comes from the Stop and Shop Mall. So again, I will constantly say that any of the nonprofits that are getting community development funds, because you have youth funding, but I don't see it allocated to any youth programs. Go ahead, Tyler.
You're asking about nonprofit programs?
You stop my time? Yeah, go ahead.
Is that what you're asking? You're asking there's no funding for nonprofits?
No, I said I see youth funding, but I don't see any organization, nonprofits that received, because I know they. Go ahead.
Right. So we solicited applications from nonprofits in the last cycle. We put forth 3 applications for 3 different nonprofits. Ultimately, the county decides who and what they want to award. So we put that request forward. We've requested funding on their behalf, but the county decided not to award funding for those organizations. So that's why they're not on this list on this item here.
Okay, usually the county funds everybody that you send. In my over 2 decades of working with community development funds, they usually approve everybody you approve, but those nonprofits do have an opportunity to go to the main meeting when all of the towns are going to that one meeting to ask for funding. But I will say that those organizations that are presenting for funding, president and council, they should be able to come here and tell everybody about their plan and what they would utilize the money for. I think it's only right. It has always been that way most times when nonprofits come, and it's good that you opened it up for the nonprofits. I've asked for years, and it's good that you open it up where they can start submitting. But nonprofits in our community do the great work with the less money that they have, but they should come up and be able to present what they want to utilize the money for. So I continue to say, let it be an open process so we can all push the county for these nonprofits that are submitting their proposals.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
So I'll say that in this case, you follow the protocols, you follow the procedures. I think you did an excellent job. I think, thanks very much to both of you and everybody else who participates in it. We followed the procedures that are provided by the county, and you guys did a great job. So thanks a lot.
Thank you for the money.
Okay, we'll close that one.
Item number 11 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase dispatch equipment for the police department's desk officer and dispatch center.
I would like to make a motion to amend the resolve clause to replace, quote, Office of Emergency Management, end quote, to, quote, Police Department's desk officer and dispatch center, end quote.
Second. Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Ennis?
Yes.
Vice President Fiumara?
Yes.
President Finn?
Yes.
Okay, so this item authorizes the purchase of an installation of dispatch equipment for the police department's desk officer and dispatch center at a cost of $51,859. After issuing an RFP, the purchasing department received 1 response from All Service Controls in Oceanside for the stated amount. Funds are available in the police department's budget. Commissioner De Palma is here if you have any further questions.
Questions, comments from the council?
I just have a question, because I'm very new to this. I was just wondering why there was only 1 bid.
All Service, we have a long-standing relationship with them. They know our infrastructure in the city very well. They've worked with both us and the fire department. I'm assuming that's why they put in for it. I can't speak as to why no other companies haven't, but they're a fantastic company, and both us and the fire department have been using them for years. And the promotion side, too, they're close by.
We will have at future meetings the new procurement director that we're picking up come to these meetings to answer questions on how they reach out to contractors, et cetera.
Good.
So that's one of the things we'll be changing in the future meetings.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Any other questions? I have a question. I think it's probably not related to this specifically, but When you call 431-1800, of course, you're directed to call 911 if it's an emergency, right? Does it bounce immediately to 911 to Long Beach?
It depends where you're calling from. If you're calling from a cell phone, it'll go to Nassau County, who will then transfer it to us. If you're calling from a landline, it'll come directly to us.
Right. Is there any way we can fix that? No, we can't with the cell phone problem.
We'd have to become a PSAP, and that would cause we'd have a huge budget amendment in order for us to take that on.
Right. So okay. I mean, okay. Answer my question. Any comments from the public or questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rich.
Close that, please.
Item 12 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to accept a grant for the Magnolia Senior Center HVAC replacement.
So we're currently in the process of replacing the HVAC system at the Magnolia Center for a total cost of $667,000. We received word that we have been awarded a state grant of up to $539,934 towards the project to cover 80% of the overall cost. The resolution would allow us to accept this grant. Tyler Huffman and Steve Friedman are available to speak on this if there are any items that you have questions on.
All right. The good news just keeps on coming, huh?
Yep. Great job, by the way.
Yeah, great. Comments from the council? Questions? Good job. Yeah. All right. That's excellent because we need it, right? Question from the public or comments? Yes.
It's a wonderful thing, air conditioning. So I'm just curious, how old is the old air conditioner?
I think we talked about this last week, didn't we?
Yeah,
last meeting.
No, I don't think so.
Steve, do you know like when I believe it's original to the building, right? But I'm not sure.
There are 3 or 4 different pieces of equipment, but they're vintage, probably 20 to 25 years plus.
And what's the useful life of this?
It's just about at its and beyond.
But is this new one going to be just one piece?
No.
Or it's going to be different units?
Correct. They're all new. We have we'll have 2 brand new air handlers in the attic that are going to feed all of the senior center, and we have a new energy mover that's out in the yard that's going to.
You don't know the square footage of the.
What's that?
You don't know the square footage of the senior center, do you?
Not off the top of my head, Roy.
Okay. And why did we authorize 1.2 million for this?
Originally, we thought the project was going to be much more expensive. Steve has been looking at all of our mechanical, electrical systems and been doing a great job of reducing the cost of these projects.
Okay, and do we get a service contract with this, or do we get a guarantee, or what do we?
So the service work, we'll have a warranty from the contractor when we're finished. I believe it's 1 or 2 years, but we service all this equipment in-house with our own staff.
Oh, we can? Mm-hmm. Oh, all right, because we didn't used to do that.
Yeah.
So that's great.
We're doing it.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Steve, I got to say, in your short time here with the city, you've done a lot of great stuff, and I appreciate it, and I know the council does too. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
Especially the clock.
It's still working?
Yeah. Okay, we'll close that one.
Item 13 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to accept a grant for fire department recruitment materials.
So the state recently awarded a small grant of $7,000 to purchase a number of items to help the recruitment efforts of our fire department. It is anticipated these funds will be used to purchase banners and other supplies for fairs, parades, and other community events. Adoption of this item would allow the city to accept this grant. Commissioner Miller is here if you have any further questions.
Okay, question from the council. I got a question, Joe. How is it going? What's the prognosis for recruiting and retention?
We could always use more people. We're hoping that using this grant money, we'll be able to get banners, flyers, additional equipment we need to be there for the fairs on the boardwalk, to get our message out and recruit our neighbors to help
Right.
the city.
Right, okay. Where are we gonna put them? On the firehouses?
We're going to replace the ones that we currently have up. There's one on the city garage, and there's another one at the West End Firehouse, which both need replacing, having faded and been out in the elements for the last bunch of years.
Right, okay, good. I mean, certainly this is something we need, so, all right.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the public? Oh, you have a question? Okay. No comment.
More of a comment, maybe.
Okay,
Was there? I know you just mentioned a few other ways that you're thinking about recruiting. Is there any more that you wanted to add, just to use this amount of money? Because I know we talked about banners and some.
Right, banners, flyers, literature that we can get out to the public.
How long is this grant for?
The grant for?
Yeah.
We just get the money to spend. It's $7,000.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. I didn't know if it was a period in time of this, but
No.
all right. Well,
We'll be able to use it.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, listen, we have an anchor that does amazing work, that works for the city. And I know that they can probably put some wonderful clips together, because it's not just a Long Beach problem, it's a Long Island problem with volunteer firefighters. I thank God for volunteer firefighters who help bless my family in different occasions. But they're always running in when we run out. So thank you, Commissioner, and thank all of the volunteers. But I believe that the city should try to figure out different initiatives or some type of way that we can really, what are the best ways we can pull in firefighters to volunteer? What kind of things we can do exciting that nobody else is doing to really get volunteers to say, I want to go to Long Beach, even from another town and from other towns like they do already.
We get people from other towns.
No, I know. I said like they do already, but maybe, with this 7,000, we're grateful for anything that we get, but I don't know, maybe we can really turn this $7,000 into like, I don't know, $1 million project, you know what I'm saying? Because there's some really good people in Long Beach that know how to do some really good videos and really kind of pull them in. And so, and I was a professional broadcaster.
Yeah, we got someone who works for us right now.
No, I know.
Sweet. She does a great job.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that it don't have to just be banners, but I know that it can be a 30-second clip that we can play and run over our social media that may really draw people in to volunteer, because I would never want anyone to have a shortage of volunteers, and I know that you guys do a great job. So I just wanted to, commend you as you constantly look for grants, Joe. I know you do. And thank you for whatever you will do with this one. But I think those videos, just like a halftime show, it got to be spot on, and it makes you go get that food, it makes you go get that product. So whatever we can really use that $7,000 to get a good clip that will pull the people in.
We were doing video last year. Unfortunately, with the cold weather, things slowed down a bit with the storms. That doesn't help with drilling purposes, getting video of things. But come the warmer weather, we'll be starting up again and be putting them out.
Okay. Thanks, Joe. Thank you for what you do and all the volunteer firefighters.
Thank you.
There's another question.
Hi, yes.
After listening to the gentleman that was speaking, I'm thinking maybe we can offer volunteers family free entrance to the beach or something like that. Give them something. Just a thought.
Okay.
The city does provide benefits for volunteers, and a pass to the beach is one of them already for the volunteer member.
Okay, I did not know that.
Brilliant minds think alike.
Is there anything else that we give them that other people here don't know about?
There is a tax break on property taxes if you're a volunteer with a certain amount of time. We have the LoSAP program, which is a pension-like system for volunteers that do 20 years of service in the fire department and donating their time. We do offer college credits, reimbursement for college credits if you're going to school. We do a bunch of things, and we're trying to entice people with.
Those sound great. Do people hear about that when you do your postings?
It's on the banners, it's on the literature, we put it out, it's on our social media, everything we can do and put it out there for people to see and what we offer with the hope that they'll come and help out.
Maybe you could do that on Facebook?
Yes, we do.
You do? Okay. I've never seen it, though I have seen that you've asked
I
for
guarantee
volunteers.
with you saying that tonight, I will have it out there tomorrow on Facebook.
Okay, please do.
Of course.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. I will close that one.
Item 14 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase new firewall units.
So this item would allow us to purchase new firewalls at the cost of $22,150. Considering that there are cybersecurity implications associated with this item, any questions beyond what is included in the resolution would need to be addressed in the executive session. And I
Okay.
do have Al here if you want to go into executive session.
Any answer on the other thing?
Yes. We have 209 phone lines, and what Cisco WebEx offers is a range up to 300. So we can get up to service up to 300 at no additional cost.
Thanks for looking for it. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Al.
Thank you. Got that, Eileen? No, that's what
No.
comes with the contract.
Right.
Okay, yep. Yeah, I'm not going to ask about this
No
one, though,
problem.
because I understand it.
Exactly.
Anybody else on the council have a question? How about from the public? Okay, Roy's got a question.
The firewalls, I don't know how much, it's supposed to be basically hardware. The firewalls are for our local?
Yes.
Okay, our local service, but we have most of our stuff on the cloud now, don't we?
Combination of both.
So you say it's equal? We have only half of it on the cloud?
It's, in terms of percentage, what percentage of what we have on
Yeah.
the cloud versus on premises?
Yeah, I thought the whole idea was to move most of it to the cloud.
I would say that the enterprise applications are cloud-based for the most
You
part,
know, the
yes.
Muni and stuff, all that, the Muni stuff, all that is cloud?
Yes.
Yeah, so most of the operation is cloud. So this just takes care of our local service. Now, we also have Barracuda and 365, whatever the other one is, and we have a lot of stuff that we have bought for security. And I think we also have insurance and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, but the firewalls, they have to be replaced how often?
Routinely when they're no longer supported.
Okay, so, but this is just, is this the services, or are these the hardware too?
It's both.
So how much of that, how much are we going to be paying each year for the services for this? If this includes the hardware, how much of that is hardware and how much is service?
I don't have an exact breakdown, as I stand here,
Yeah.
but it comes combined.
I know it comes combined. I'm
Comes
just trying to
combined.
figure out what the yearly cost would be. All right, if you can get back to me on that.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll close
Al-
that one.
Just real quick, isn't, Al, the yearly cost though is $22,150, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's it, right?
Yeah, yep.
Item 15 has been taken off the calendar. Okay, on to vote.
So I think we can block vote, right?
Make a motion for it.
Okay, we can block vote.
You're making a
Oh, right.
to block
Second.
vote items.
1 and 2, yeah, right, okay.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Ennis?
Yes.
Vice President Fiamara?
Yes.
President Finn?
Yes.
City manager's personnel report has been filed with the city clerk. Who will make a motion to close? Second?
I will.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Ennis?
Yes.
Vice President Fiumara? Yes. President Finn?
Yes. All right. Thank you. James Hodge? Is that all right?
Perfect.
Ms. Dell, I think they put that information on Facebook already. I think they just posted again. But that is good to constantly keep promoting all of the wonderful.
That was a recruitment thing.
Yes,
That's what that
yes,
was.
they just put it up again.
Right, yeah.
Yep. So that's good, and the commissioner just had it put up again. It's good that we continue putting that information out so we can continue getting recruitment. I just wanted to say again, as you have major updates with the infrastructure project, the North Shore Critical Infrastructure Project. One of the things that we have done in the past is also because it's right in the North Park community, we've had meetings, whatever would take place on the bay or in the back area there. We had meetings at the youth center, the MLK Center, the city building, in collaboration with the nonprofit. That's where meetings were. The community leaders have come together and brought people in to know what was going on. I want to thank you again as a community advocate. I don't speak on behalf of the board. I'm not a board member. I like to say that and be clear. But I like to say,
I know that.
When you all do things that are requested, I want to applaud you. And I stand up many meetings and request that funds go into the center, the upkeep of the building, and also if there's any funds that can go into the nonprofit itself. Sometimes there's things that may go in and you may say, well, you have to change that a little bit to make it get accepted. But I encourage the city to continue working with the nonprofits of Long Beach because they all need help. And they all need funding, whether it's $5,000, $6,000, whatever they can get through the community development funds. And so, again, I just wanted to applaud the work that is going on in the building and continue putting money to different nonprofit programs. All right, thank you again, and
Thanks.
Good night. God bless.
Thanks, good night. Appreciate that. Roy Lester. How they hand them to me?
It's usually the first.
They hand them to me, and
first
I read
person
them off
that
the
signs
top.
up usually gets called first, and now it's the last person that signs up gets called first.
They handed me the sheets, and I started reading them. Does it matter?
No.
Good. Okay. What do you got to say?
The backup documentation. I've been coming to the meetings for a long time, longer than any of you. And
Yo, you're older than me, so you have an advantage.
Not by that much. Nice try. But I've never seen such sparse backup documentation.
Sparse?
Sparse, yes. I mean, and this is the first time I've ever seen it come out. Last week and this week, it's not coming out on Friday when everything else comes out. And I know we had the hearing, the meeting a day late because of St. Patty's Day, but that backup documentation is very important to people who try to understand what's going on in the city.
I agree with
and,
you.
I mean, and You take a look at this week's.
I did.
And you didn't find it sparse? Never mind, I shouldn't ask you that question. Okay. I'm just asking, there are certain of us that read it, and read it religiously, and would really like to know what's going on. And when there's no backup documentation, there's a tremendous amount of stuff that can be found at. And for example, the stuff we're doing in the police dispatching, we're spending $51,000, I think it is, but we have no idea what it is spent on. And in the past, backup documentation had every nut and bolt in it, so you could really look at it. And we're not seeing any of that anymore, so whatever you can do to help us out. Thanks a lot.
Yep, I agree. Dale Greenstein.
My question has to do with rusty water. I've had all of the water pipes in my house changed. I'm going to say I'm lucky that I've been able to do that. However, the water is still coming in rusty. What can we do to help that along? There's no reason why my grandchildren should be taking a bath in rusty water, nor should people have to take showers in rusty water. What can we do? And I'm sure we don't have the money to do it all ourselves. What can we do?
So we're looking into We're looking into grants for changing out the water system, the water piping in our community. Most of the pipes are over 100 years old.
Yes.
They're fairly worn down. They're past their useful lives. The problem is this is probably a $150 million project, way beyond the budget that we have available to us. There are projects. Yeah. There are projects similar to the Walks project where we are changing out water lines that will help that area. The problem is that the distribution system throughout the city is old. We do flush hydrants frequently to try to flush out as much of the scale that we can get off the inside of the pipes. They're old iron pipes. What happens, they build up scale on the inside, and that eventually makes its way into the water. It will be a long-term problem that we'll have to do community by community and continue to get grant funding to try to change that out.
Is there any organization within the federal government that actually does that?
So the grants that we're going through are for congressional directed spending we're looking at. We are also looking at water fund projects. We've been putting in for them consistently. We haven't been too successful in the really large ones, but we've been pretty successful in the smaller ones, like we've replaced our water filters, which will help to a certain extent. But this is a much bigger project than just the water filters. So we'd have to start doing streets. The problem with it is you can't reline the pipes. You have to basically replace the pipes.
Yes.
So you have to dig up every street, replace the piping, and redo every street. It will be a great project for the city because we'll get new streets out of it and new water lines. But it will be a very costly project that we are constantly. I mean, Tyler knows. I ask him on a daily basis, how many grants can we get for water systems? It is our main priority. That's where most of the funding shortfall is in the city. The water system, unfortunately, in the city has been neglected for a very long time, and we are doing everything we can to get it back up to a state of good repair.
Would it help if we had petitions from the members of the community?
It never hurts. I don't know if that will necessarily help us get the grants. We are working every angle. Trust me, Tyler, Patty, Lori, everybody was mentioning that everybody's very diligent. We even have a consultant on board, Millennium Strategies, that focuses on getting us grants. And this is one of the areas that we are pushing very heavily, and we have been pushing for the last 2 years. We are aware of the problem, and it is going to be very costly, and we try to make sure everybody that will listen to us hear us loud and clear.
Okay, with that in mind, can we hear from Tyler or whoever is working on it when we get the negative back from whatever organization within the federal government that we're dealing with.
So what I would suggest is right now we're going through congressional directed spending applications. I would suggest that anyone and everyone that feels like reaching out to Laura Gillen, Chuck Schumer, and Gillibrand, reach out to them and say we are in desperate need of this sort of money, and it will help. I don't know if it will be enough to get us the grants, and I think their direct congressional directed spending is limited to, I don't remember what the number is. Is it 5 million? 5 million. So it won't do a lot, but it will do something.
It's a start.
So every little bit helps, and we'll do it in pieces. And but we have been putting in for these projects, and we have reached out to the federal government on multiple occasions trying to push this project.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. I agree with you. Eileen Hessian.
Eileen Hessian. Will you be able to explain the changes to item 1 for next week? You were changing the zoning code in the appendixes or something. Will we know what those changes were by next week?
It's publication, right?
The one about alcohol.
The statute for publication has the proposed changes that are going to be published. But the public hearing is obviously when it's scheduled for, and yeah, the purpose of the public hearing is to discuss it at that place
All
and
right.
time.
Okay, thank you. Secondly, I see this flyer. Is this going out to every family, every home?
I can't see it from here.
City Council update. It starts with the record-breaking beach revenue of $5 million. You didn't write this? Anyway.
I can't see it.
That went out at the end of last summer.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought maybe you got an advance copy.
I got a delayed copy, I guess. They're downstairs
It just
in the
came?
lobby. Anyway, it brings up again, have we made a profit on the beach?
We won't know until
Okay,
we...
all right, that's it. I thought, never
Right.
mind.
No, we won't know till we...
Cancel that question.
Right, okay.
My third is not a question, but I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for the people who have died and will continue to die during this illegal and unconstitutional war. So for those who will you please bow your heads and give a moment of silence for those people? Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Ron Paganini.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Ronnie.
Well, I just want to let you know I reviewed the video of the last meeting. And I looked it over. You know, Dan Creighton was going 90 miles an hour, so I had to go cover every word. But, so the words that the manager said to me about our water source, the Lloyd Aquifer, so Dan actually reported that you worked with Dr. Mayland, which is great, and the geological surveyors, and will continue to do so. And Dan also reported that the Lloyd Aquifer is not infinite, saying the city has approximately a decade left. So to me, full transparency on this issue is hard to do, you know. And I think you did the right thing, you know, that the people have, you know, so it was accomplished as far as full transparency. And I thank you for that. And I agree with you. You know, it was a tough decision to make, but you did it. Most people wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. So I truly thank you for that. And it's going to be an ongoing thing to find, you know, how to fix it, you know, the solution. It's going to take time. I agree with that. And, you know, but now, since you've been full transparently, and I thank, you know, President Finn and all the council, you did the right thing. It was hard to do. It was hard for me to bring it out, too. I only said the words that other people said. So I'm asking you, like, this summer, would this administration police our water conservation ordinances? Is it worth it?
Of course.
I mean, I'm just saying, because nobody's really enforced them, especially with the lawns and stuff like that. You know, get it out there, Dan. And we all know that the showers get stuck on the beach constantly. They have to be changed. You can't have pull chains no more. That's an easy fix. So, again, if you can enforce it and get it out to the people that there is a law, you know, you don't need to water the lawn every day. You don't. Every other day is fine. The roots will actually grow deeper. They'll search for water every other day. That's how it works. Believe it or not, they get longer. So, you know, I was just thinking, you know, the presentation from Dr. Malin, maybe we can get her in at the library. You know, because, listen, I understand it. And I'm sure you understand, you know, how deep this is, to understand it, of the well that we're in, you know what I'm saying? So if you could do that, and I was just thinking, Dan, how old are our wells that pull water? Are they that old? Like the one that broke down, I'm saying. How old is it? I'm sure you don't have the dates, but you know, we've had 16 wells drilled or 18 wells drilled over time, you know, and they abandoned them. But if we can, in other words, be transparent, be open to things like this, and maybe if you can get those days, how old they are. And I would ask the city, like, you know, every month, once in your address, the manager's address, just say, there's nothing new, you know, about our situation, you know, as far as the Lloyd Aquifer is concerned. Nothing's changed. And if you do find something that changed, a well broke or whatever, just please keep us informed. You know, I get phone calls from people who live here, who work for the city, who tell me things, and I bring it to you. And I always tell you ahead of time, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here to bushwhack anybody here. You know what I mean? But anyway, if you could do that, Dan, like
Could do that.
once a month, you know, the second meeting, and just say, no change, you know, everything's good. You know what I mean? Like, just keep us, you know, with the knowledge of what's going on from day to day. So I thank you for being very transparent on a tough situation. Thank you very much.
Fair enough. Thank you, Ronnie.
Karen Riskin.
Good evening, everybody. I'm
evening,
Karen
Karen.
Riskin, and I'm here to, very brief, so I'm here, although this hasn't been official yet, I'm coming to say, on behalf of Protect Our Coast and the Long Beach community, I'm here to say thank you very much for banning the best from our community. It is the most important thing that has to happen. And it'll be the best, and everybody will be thankful. In following the meeting on April 7th, we're doing a party at the Shore House. One drink gets 50% off, and it's gonna be on Protect Our Coast. The following drinks are whatever anybody else wants, it's on them. We want to gather everybody together to celebrate something that we've been longing for. So we say thank you.
Thanks.
And hope to see everybody there, and hopefully you can spread the word. People have to wake up still. I find it strange that so many people don't even know what it's about. It's very, very odd that they just, it's
Right.
like they're blind about it. But we're going to still wake them up. That's what we do. And I want to, again, say thank you very much. It is the most important thing that we've been waiting for.
I appreciate it, Karen.
Excuse me,
Thank
quick
you.
question. What was that date again, please?
April 7th,
Come right after the meeting.
following the meeting
Yeah,
here,
following the meeting.
we'll go parade over to the Shore House.
Okay. Huh. We'll be very strict on the 3 minutes that night. Just kidding.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Judy Vining?
Hello. I stand before you an example of somebody who got here first and was called last. So if you want to think about the order in which you call people.
As they handed them to me.
No, I understand that's not your thing. But we used to do it by a sign-in sheet. Maybe that's the way to do it again, because...
What's the difference?
Well, the difference is this is a short, kind of easy meeting, but if it wasn't, by the
Your
time the
opinion.
last person comes, probably nobody's left to hear them.
Okay.
I mean, that,
I don't
you
know. So you put yours in early and you come in out late?
I was the
Is that
first
what you're
one.
saying? Okay. All right.
Not that it mattered. Listen, most of you don't know me except for Mr.
I'm
Kalinsky.
finding that there's nothing too small that doesn't matter in this town.
That's kind of true.
I'm right, right? Yeah, okay. Probably the same in many other places.
All right. As I started to say, only Mr. Kalinsky really knows me, but what you know about me, or what I want you to know about me, is when I talk for Long Beach Aware, I have no skin in the game. We're a resource for the city of Long Beach. We tell you what we know as well-researched, well-documented. What you do with that is what you do with that. Just letting you know that ahead of time as we talk about the hearing, and I'm so glad you're having a hearing, but I would question when you're having it, and I want you to think about that. It's in the middle of school vacation. It's the last night of Passover, so it's a Jewish holiday. If you want as much input from the community as possible, you kind of have set it up. So I don't mean you set it up on purpose, but it's the way it's set up is it is the school vacation for everybody. It is the Holy Week for everybody. It's Good Friday. It's Easter Sunday. You name it, it's there. And a lot of the community.
April 7th, right?
Pardon me?
You're talking about April 7th?
Yeah.
It's after Easter Sunday. But I don't
No,
think
it's
they get.
not.
I don't think they.
Yeah,
I don't think they get off
Easter's
on Easter anymore.
Easter's on the 5th.
No. The
It's
the
about-
vacation is from. It starts the Thursday before Good Friday, and it continues all the way till April 13th. Is
What
the
does?
first day back.
What?
April 13th is the
The
first day
vacation?
back of school. I would just ask you to consider having the hearing when most of the community has a chance to have an input. You get as much as input as you can rather than, put it off to the next meeting so that it doesn't appear that, you want to suppress the input. That's kind of all I'm saying.
Okay.
And again, April 7th is a Jewish holiday. So you might want to consider that as well.
I didn't know that
It's
either.
the last night of Passover.
Is it Passover?
Mm-hmm.
The first night?
Well, it's the last night, which is when people often have seders as well.
So you can come out after sundown. You cannot.
No, it's usually, if anyone cares or anybody's religious enough to have a Seder on the last night, it's a family time. No, it doesn't end at sundown.
Oh, it doesn't? Oh, I thought they did. I had no idea it was Passover,
Right,
actually.
no.
I guess I should have, but Passover's a movable feast, just like
So
Easter
just
is.
like, they're all movable feasts, but, again,
Well, some of them are not. Some of them are on certain dates, like
yes, December 25th stays the same, right? And I didn't,
Okay, well, I appreciate your
All right.
comment.
The other thing I want to talk to you about is I had a conversation with legislator Mullaney, and he told me that the ban on kratom went into effect immediately.
The what?
Kratom, probably the first time in history that the Nassau County legislature had an anonymous vote to ban a substance called kratom. It is colloquially, whatever, called gas station heroin. It has the same properties. They rescheduled it to a Schedule I drug, and it was banned as of, I think it was last Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever their meeting date was. Whether or not the city of Long Beach has to pass its own, I don't know. I think you would know that better than I, Greg. Or,
Just so the council knows what we're talking about here, the county legislator banned kratom, whatever you call it. It's a plant, I believe, indigenous to Southeast Asia, that if you consume the leaves of that product, it produces opiate-like effects.
and it can be addictive.
Right. I recall looking at the law, and I recall seeing that it was for all of Nassau County, the entire territory within. I would need to look at it again. I didn't know we were going to talk about it tonight, but there's no need, if it says that, for the city council to do its own.
That's what I thought, but I just, I am not a lawyer, so I have no idea. But if that's the case, then we have a store on Alabama Street that is still open and selling, and that's their only business.
Right. I mean, not that I'm defending them. It's
No,
possible
no,
that they don't know because it just passed. But maybe,
I'll look into it.
Yeah, Dan will look
Yeah,
into it
I
with
mean,
the police.
again, it's the kind of thing where, in all honesty, they market themselves as a health thing, and then at the very bottom it says, not approved by the FDA, can cause addiction, blah, 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 on their website. But, sometimes when I come up and ask you if you have an overarching policy about any of these things, I'm certain when they came for their zoning variance for off-street parking, because I can't imagine that you wouldn't need that in the West End, nobody would know. So, and you can't know everything, but there's got to be some kind of communication so that you would know, as other communities do know, that there are things they don't want to add to their, business that would be not advantageous. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any more contestants?
We're all out of contestants. So thank you very much, everybody, for your participation in the meeting. Appreciate you coming down. Please arrive home safely. And our next meeting is April 7th. We'll see you then.